I just don't. She places they're not wearing. Their church for happy people.
Okay, well, I now call to order this meeting, Huntingburg. Chair, pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Dear Father God, thank you for these board members that are here and for the employees of the city of Huntingburg and for the work that they put in, trying to make Huntingburg a better place, but also considering all and decisions they make. Please be with us this evening, guide and direct our thoughts for these things that we ask you, son's name. Amen. Amen. Order, there's a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second. Got a first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of claims. Make a motion to approve the claims.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye, motion carries. Thank you. First thing is up, and I'll ask Phil to maybe go to a little bit, maybe history of this, is a proposed resolution authorizing interlocal cooperation agreement, the study of a relinquishment of US 231 by approving the interlocal agreement. You're not making any decisions as to whether we're accepting relinquishment, whether we're even going to consider relinquishment and what that amount is, but more or less working together with other units, other local units of government in negotiating and the terms of a relinquishment. And some of that could be up to not accepting relinquishment. Just to understand that, and if so, relinquish when it's going to be relinquished, what that amount of relinquishment is worth to us to be able to do so. But it's just an opportunity that we can work with other local governments, have one voice, but also at the same time, anything that we ask for financially, we have to be able to prove or come up with amounts. And right now, there is a study in there. I don't think we have to approve the Avenue 231 tonight. I'd like to review that a little more, the agreement to do the study for the group. I think we've got that pretty late, but and I haven't had a chance to look at that, so I'm not even comfortable suggesting we do that. But what we're looking for tonight is to be able to bring this interlocal agreement. Our attorneys in Du Bois County work together to come up with this, and I think build a little history there.
Yeah, so of course, as you're probably aware, INDOT city on the path of developing, studying, developing, and constructing potential funding the Mid-States Corridor as a north-south connector to the I-69. In order to do that, they will relinquish 231. Those portions of Du Bois County, those portions that are in the county would be relinquished to the county. Those portions that are in the city of Huntingburg will be relinquished to the city. And those portions that are in the city of Jasper would be relinquished to the city of Jasper. Relinquishment means those units of local government would take over that portion of the highway that is within their jurisdiction. They would be responsible for all aspects of the highway, including maintenance, safety, not only maintenance of the surface, but of all structures, storm sewers, culverts, stop lights, all accoutrements in any way associated with that portion of US 231 that's located within their jurisdiction. The state of Indiana, INDOT, will enter into negotiations with units of local government to fund that obligation to maintain those structures for a period of up to 10 years. And the funding would be from the state of Indiana, INDOT. I believe if the legislature has already approved about a year or 2 years ago, $75 million for 231 improvements through Du Bois County. and I think that may also include part of Martin County. And that is the fund that would be available to fund the units' contributions of the units' responsibility to maintain and relinquish portions that be divided somehow based upon mileage probably. And that would be paid out over 10 years, as I understand. These are just kind of concepts at this point. So we're not real clear on all the aspects of relinquishment, what it would cost. We're not clear on what the current condition of the highway is. And so the city of Jasper, the county of DuBois, and city of Huntingburg met with representatives about 2 or 3 weeks ago to discuss with a consultant. It's a municipal asset management and planning consultant known as Avenue. They're a division of another larger engineering firm that I'm sorry, I don't know who it is.
Yeah, they're well known, and yeah, they have about 100 different businesses, around offices around Indiana.
But this meeting with this consultant was to explore the possibility of retaining their services to investigate the condition of 231 and all aspects of relinquishment, what it would entail, estimated costs in the future, estimated traffic patterns, changes in traffic patterns, safety, all elements in any way associated with responsibilities we would have in assuming control over 231. They would also assist in negotiating with NDOT or funds to fund this maintenance or relinquishment obligation. And so I think in your board pack, the materials, there was a proposed agreement with Avenue, at least the scope of services and their proposed fee for doing that, and that fee was just for the city of Huntingburg. It was not to exceed, I think, $53,000. Now, since our meeting, DuBois County has indicated that they are not interested in participating in the interlocal study of this. I don't know what that means. I don't think they haven't taken the official act. It could be that they are not going to accept relinquishment. I don't know, but they have determined that they will not participate in this interlocal. So if there is going to be an interlocal agreement, it would be between the city of Jasper and the city of Huntingburg to study and share the cost of that study. And also share this for the purpose of negotiating fair compensation for accepting relinquishment of the highway. So you have a proposed resolution before you that would authorize an interlocal government cooperation agreement between the city of Jasper and the city of Huntingburg to enter into the study of the effects and obligations of relinquishment and to consider the use of Avenue as the consultant for that purpose. This particular resolution, as it's drafted, goes on further to approve that agreement with you and authorize proceeding with it. We just got a revised agreement today, so may not want to approve it, but you may want to approve proceeding forward with the interlocal agreement, cooperation agreements.
Stands are also given approval of Board of Public Works to negotiate that contract.
Yeah, that would, so essentially this would authorize, this resolution would authorize city to enter into interlocal agreement with the city of Jasper. And also authorize the Board of Public Works and Safety to negotiate a comprehensive study with that. Approving that agreement tonight, just authorize the negotiations. Second cost of was 50 cents. Yeah, now of course that's what maybe it was.
On study, yeah.
On his third page, it says 152. Yeah, I don't know for sure, but that's the most, that's the most recent one. That was one through the DuBois County. And that was going to be for Jasper, DuBois County, and Salem. They're all 3 units. So they have now revised that. It just went out today. Okay. We just got it. We just got it this morning. I think it went out this afternoon.
That was it, Charlie.
Okay. So the Huntingburg's portion is what's being proposed.
That's the, last line of their proposal here, they have its anticipated fees, based after negotiation where they think they'll be for outlined with a lump sum of 53,000 billed monthly on a percent of completion basis. Which I am a little, that is, one thing that confused me and the thing too, that we're paying on a lump sum on a monthly basis, so. It doesn't make sense to me, so there's obviously a lot of things, so I don't feel comfortable. Honestly, with accepting the amount straight up. We will say that if we accept relinquishment in the future, or the other thing too is this will also take into study any economic impacts on. They could happen to city Huntingburg and be crashed out, those type of things that they can influence. It is a lot of money, but we're talking millions of dollars at stake here too. We can't just throw an arbitrary number out, go from there, but it may show in the end that we're so far off of it that relinquishment may not be an option. There's everything that needs to be upstate. This isn't moving towards relinquishment, but it is being able to study the feasibility of relinquishment and what that financial impact is to the city of Huntingburg and to the city of Jasper.
Did they say how long this would take?
There is, I think they anticipate by February, they would have deliverables presented to the city. Which include, let me see, it includes, what is it? It includes 5 meetings in person with a consultant. A summary of key relinquishment findings and key discussion points. The executive summary document outlining the study, the findings and the recommendation. An appendix document with study materials, minutes, data analysis, etc. And ongoing advice and support. That report will be completed by the end of February of 26. Let's see if notice is given by the end of September 25.
Clearly, Avenue is not the only company in the state that could do a study like this.
So it likely is not, I don't know about others.
Who initiated?
The city of Jasper initiated this,
Well,
and I'm not sure.
yeah, originally it was initiated by the county, it was not in there. They called the meeting together. Different firms were discussed, and Avenue was the leader for a lot of reasons. Part of that reason is because most of their employees are from NDOT at one time. So they have some there, but also they're also been involved in relinquishment. Franklin, around the Plainfield area, some other areas around the state, they've done a lot of relinquishment deals with that. One gentleman that heads a company actually worked for the city of Franklin, where Franklin contacted NDOT and asked for the highlighted relinquishment. A lot of communities have done that, so we'll take it over. Go the speed, the parking and everything along the area. Madison, Indiana did that a few years ago also, but that was a big part of the revitalization of downtown. Franklin was to slow traffic down and make it. NDOT's main thing is they just want to get people through town as fast as they can. They don't care about safety, or I shouldn't say that. That's kidding. Their focus, they do care about safety, safety discussions, but their concern is more moving traffic. Our concern is getting traffic to stop here and do business.
I'm curious if the county opts out of the study. And I mean, we're either gonna do a different study, on their own or something, but what power does the county have if we do the study and the county says, no, we're not we're not interested in a study and we're not interested in supporting the new highway, and we're frankly not gonna take over the old 231.
Yeah,
What power do they or we have?
it is a really good question, Jeff. But also realize that they've made no official determination what they're gonna do either way.
Yeah, I'm curious about how, not necessarily them, ultimately it comes back to us.
Yeah.
You know, what are we going to do? And I'm not making a decision either way either. But my curiosity is that what if we said, nope, we're not gonna take over 231, and so did Jasper, and so does the county. Would that stop the project, or would they say, sorry, you guys are getting it whether you want it or not, and now you've just really messed up your negotiation deal. We're not gonna really help you much unless you support this. You know, I'm just trying to figure out going forward, what power do we have? It's gonna happen anyway. We need to know that, and we need to negotiate well. But if,
Yeah, I'm not pretty, I'm not even sure that Bill knows everything legally around that, what ramifications are. A lot of things have been said, you know, they may be forced relinquishment, you know, there's all kinds of stuff been talked about. Obviously, we would want any type of negotiations that occurred with the state that did to be open and be fair. I don't know that, I believe personally, just personal belief, that that's why we want to look at other people, that the amount and the conditions of relinquishment do not favor us, and we need to continue looking at other options, and some things that are even outside of the cash area, but future assistance with intersection management and other funding outside of the 231. So if you look at a lot of streets, 22nd Street stuff, we meet the state that got potholes along those where those areas meet, you know, that continually get torn up in the snow plows, and there's snow plows hit them and tear them up. So there's other areas that are impacted besides that surface. You know, stoplights, we have guardrails, you know, we have a lot of things.
You know, we don't have a stoplight
And
department
And those are significantly more expensive, well, realize.
Yeah.
there was an interesting article that was in the paper, the Free Press, it's been several months ago now, I believe, maybe even a little further back, that where Jasper's street department, I believe, or maybe the engineer had done like an internal study to determine things like snow removal and traffic lights and stripe and paint on the roads and surface maintenance and, you know, a lot of things. And it was a pretty big number that they did internally.
Yeah, we've done the same thing. So,
You know, so it's gives us a little bit of an insight.
we also have the
what's
same
gonna be
meetings talk about that too, you know, and it's a lot of. We mentioned, of course, there's traffic signals. You also have to look at striping at intersections that they do, or does with machines that we don't have, or the ability to do so. Their snow plows have steel, ours are rubber. They're wider, they're able to go down the road at a higher speed and push that snow away than what our vehicles are. Ours are made for narrow streets. A lot of times that's why it takes us, it's more difficult for us to clean a street than it is than the highway, just because of the equipment and the chemicals that they use too, is part of that. You have wider lanes, you know, we even discussed what happens when somebody hits a guardrail. What about mowing? What about some other things that we have to do? We don't have equipment to mow the ditch on the south side.
State side either up there.
They don't, I don't think they can.
They contracted
So,
biannually.
so we have a lot of issues there, and how do we handle the stop points between county and the city, and so there are a lot of things that we have to look at. This in the local agreement of kind of the beginning of that. being able to work together. I feel just by, that probably Avenue is probably the right one. We do have an opportunity. Some of the other things we gotta look at too are conditions of the roads, but what's underneath that highway that has to be there. I know that there were $75 million worth of projects noted. You know, my question is, if the budget was 50, would they have $150 million? What are those projects? What are the ongoing expenses? You know, if we've even talked about, even from the county side, working on South 231, if you're blowing down through there, we're doing maintenance. We don't have the equipment that stops traffic, that regulates traffic that the state has in that respect too. Trucks with the large bumpers on the back that you can stop traffic. We don't have any. $150 sign to us doesn't mean near as much to the state of Indiana as it does to us. So we also have speed limit signs and road signs and take an inventory of those. That'll be something that they've done, but we'll double check the numbers.
You had mentioned once before, I don't know how long the list is gonna be, but there are some advantages to us controlling it. One being, I remember a time several years back, I think you might have been part of that, where we were looking at putting a sidewalk along the west side of 231 between roughly Steincamps up to the grocery store. And there was gonna be $40-some thousand of engineering fees required by NDOT in order to put 2 blocks of sidewalk there. Just blew me away. But it comes down to their requirement. If you're working in there right away, that has to be done before you can pour it a 5-foot wide, 2-block long piece of sidewalk. And so you had mentioned that there might be a list of things that would be a positive with us taking over the road, but I want to see all that. You know, I want to be able to consider, because I know there's things that I'm not considering.
So that's part of the study that
Right.
came out with those items too.
Right.
Several areas along that street that we might see quicker and less costly improvements that we have to do. But
Close the ditch on south side.
yeah.
It's upside down. Yeah. We have a lot of things there, you know, and some of the discussion, and Jeff alluded to it a little bit. That some of these costs are gonna be at what I recall Davis-Bacon type of costs. But we will not, when we do it, we could hopefully do it cheaper and so if we're getting, you know, just $1 million for a project, maybe we could do it for 800,000, because we don't have to go through all the hoops that we do with state and federal funds. Realize that this highway 231 is as much a federal highway as it is a state. The state will not maintain 2 highways, and the federal government will not maintain 2. So what that means, I don't know. Legally, can they force us into relinquishment when they just walk away and they figure, I doubt that. Really do. I'm not saying that he's.
I would say though, if we don't accept relinquishment, we're not gonna be high on their maintenance schedule. Through the district fund, and then our hands are really tied. I mean, if mid-states corridor is constructed, the state will not get federal funds for any federal funds for 230, the old 231.
It'll be pretty rough.
It'd be up to the state to use its discretion to do whatever maintenance it believes minimum standards of safety require. And our hands are tied because it would still be a state highway and we wouldn't be able to touch it. So it warrants studies, so we know what we're getting into if it comes to.
Realize that the 75 million included 25 million of that going to improvements north of Batesville.
What do you see? What's our options tonight? We can we can table this?
You can, yeah. So what this resolution proposes is sets for the fact that a study is needed because of the potential for this relinquishment. We don't have the facts, we don't know what the effects are, what the costs are gonna be. And so some kind of a comprehensive study in cooperation with Jasper and Huntingburg is necessary. And it authorizes the mayor to enter into this interlocal government cooperative government agreement with the city of Jasper to retain Avenue at some point based on negotiating contracts. And to do this study cooperatively, we would share information back and forth. And then also authorizes the Board of Public Works and Safety to, or their representatives to actually negotiate a contract with Avenue. Now, the city of Jasper hasn't approved theirs yet. They haven't considered it yet. I'm not saying that you have to entertain it. They can take action on it tonight. They want to wait to see what's been asked for them. The fact that the county has pulled out of this interlocal cooperative effort is kind of a new development and just was sprung on us late last week. And we just got the revised scope of services from the consultant today. So, but you know, it certainly warrants discussion tonight. So you're on, you know, all the facts that we have.
I personally feel that this study is warranted, but I'm not saying, I'm not sure that this is the right company or this is the right study or this is the right agreement. But all we would be doing is authorizing the mayor to, in good faith, go forward and investigate this. Is that what we're agreeing to?
That's correct.
Yeah, you're not allowing us to sign a contract with Avenue, but to negotiate that contract.
I'd like to see what the cost is gonna be if we're gonna do that. Contract plan.
What's that?
I'd like to see what our costs were.
The proposal was 53,000. Now, that's what they're proposing. That would be the city share.
And that's not,
And I don't know what Jasper share, we haven't seen their comments.
Where would those funds after the spending the whole damn budget?
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's one reason we want to bring it up for final adoption of the budget itself too, so. It would be something that would have to be considered, you know, within the next year's budget. We do have some contracted funds there, but still it's. You know, if I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept it. If nobody makes the motion, it dies. And we don't need a motion to not accept it.
It'd be considered a later time to adopt.
So
if we allow you to do this, will it come back before us? Or will it go to Board of Public Works? And they will have a final say?
well, it'll go to the Board of Public Works on the contract, however. They don't have authorization
To spend any
to
money.
provide the funds.
Right, we gotta.
So we'll get back in.
It eventually has to come back here. If the funds aren't available. We can't fully execute the
I don't know, I
contract.
see that.
Well, that's the check and balance system.
If we have this done, will it, I mean, do we even have any negotiating power with NDOT to say? We think that
Well-
that it's gonna cost $100 million and you're getting us $20 million.
According to Avenue, they will negotiate. They will, and maybe it won't all be dollars and cents, maybe it'll be they will turn over equipment like snow plows.
Length of term?
Maintain stoplights for 100 years.
They might, they will maintain, the only stoplight they'll maintain is the one at 64, because it's a state line.
The other direction.
State line. But all the others would be ours.
We could ask for other road funding too as part of it. To do other surface streets at intersection 230. That's a common thing.
I mean,
I do think that it sounds like this study is what a lot of people that I've been talking to are asking, the questions they're asking, what is the impact of the road on our businesses, and also. I think just today was another indicator of how much traffic there is in 231, and also too, just that Steinkamp is still gonna have delivery trucks, you know, it's gonna be Right, all of the semis are still gonna be coming through town and going on that road.
Oh,
And, well, a lot, but I mean, all the industry that we have here, all of their trucks are gonna be here, and so just that. Impact of the extra, I don't know. That traffic and what
Yeah.
impact that.
That is part of the study, is to look at local businesses, see how impacted the local traffic patterns will be as a result of this. Will be utilizing 64, that be utilizing Phoenix Drive. Phoenix Drive is a city street that probably be utilized more as a result of this. Anything coming from north is going to exit mid space on the north side, come in on Phoenix Drive if you're going out to the west side. So we gotta look at that impact too on other city streets and corridors.
This is the one they're on.
Can we get more information on Avenue? They are.
Yeah, I can, they are a well-established company in Indiana, and I'll give you. They're a subsidiary of a larger group, but. Yeah, I get you. That was kind of the positive of that because the diversification of the businesses gave us a little more talent pool. People we weren't dealing with 2 or 3 people, or one may leave, or there may be some turnover impacted. They are, so what I'll do is, in the meantime, prior to the next meeting, we'll give you kind of a history of Avenue. They are themselves a fairly new company, but we have met all the principals of that company. People that will be dealing with us, and president of this area, so there's. We'll get you the information.
I think. Just, I want fair information. I want unbiased information. There's a suspicion around the area that studies can lean towards whoever is in charge of the study. Or studies can lean in favor of who's funding the studies. So it concerns me a little bit that a lot of their employees are former NDOT, if NDOT really behind the
Well,
project.
they have couples.
So
I
think
think,
it's fair.
and we see that as a positive, frankly. Well. We see it as a positive for a lot of reasons. They understand the negotiation behind it. Hey, we have a lot of local people right now that are former, in fact, they do. We have people working for the county. That now, because of their knowledge, gives us negotiating power about how they are working with PennDOT is and how to negotiate that. Corey Daly, that's on here, was he's from city government.
Are they given any references to like other projects similar to ours that they've done already?
Yeah, we'll get you all that information. Show that, and probably the biggest project is the Franklin Indiana project in big town. I've been there, I've visited that. There has been a resurgent downtown area. Now people driving slower than the streets they maintain. So we'll get you that. We'll get you information on projects they've done, a little bit about their background. The parent company, they are part of the larger conglomerate too. But I felt very comfortable in the meetings that they were going to be hard nosed for our side. And it's, I won't go into some of those details here, but we felt very, very pleased with what we heard inside the meetings.
Well, I would also think too, that it's not like it doesn't sound like their firm works for NDOT in any way. It's not like they're gonna lean that way because they're looking for business from NDOT in the future. This is what they're looking for cities to do things.
The type of work they do would not, they would probably never be contracted. Frankly, it's the type of work they do. I'll get you some more information.
Can I make a motion to table it, like, Cindy's additional decisions? The next
You
meeting.
mentioned earlier that you would have requests approving it, we just don't approve it.
Yeah.
But is there a difference still in the legalities of it? If somebody makes a motion to table it versus.
Well, when you table it, it's a pretty good indication that you're gonna consider it again. If you reject it, or you just think, no, when you reject it, then the indication is that you're not favor of going to consider it again. Take no action at all, it's just a table. It's kind of like, I don't know. But tabling would give it some gravitas, you know, that you just look at it, study it, and want more consideration, and one more time.
I think there's lack of information about who we're dealing with, and this is all new to us, and what the other stakeholders might do in the county and the city.
This is why we pushed it out quickly.
Yeah.
I had no. There was no way I thought you were gonna vote on. it. Okay, but it was better than, the problem is if we waited and looked at it 2 weeks and you got it in email, there wouldn't be these types of discussions. So I like bringing stuff to public meetings like this, having discussions where you reject everyone. Because I think that for the public to hear, but also think that from an open door policy standpoint, it's great that we can have these discussions on camera.
I don't think anybody considering the study would make it. I don't think it's an indicator whether we are pro mid-states corridor or not. I think this is just another snippet of information that you need to help make those decisions.
That's absolutely
You
fine.
have to, I mean,
We may not have a choice.
yeah, we may not get a choice here,
Yeah, that's right.
but we need to be,
We may not have a choice with relinquishment. So
We
we
might.
need to know what the effect of relinquishment would be if it comes to pass.
I guess we agree.
I would agree totally, so that's.
As a body, as a governmental unit, we're here to protect the interests of the city, of the citizens of the city. First and foremost, so, and whatever that is, we need to have the proper information in order to make that decision. That's my feeling, so.
I'd like to see that we're not in a fight by ourselves with the new, we have partners.
Yeah, there's some strength in numbers.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, there's a list of assets, I say that are, that the state has generated on culverts and street widths and all those things. If our values are drastically different than, another communities, it could also complicate any negotiations.
Right.
So that's the other issue that, you know, right, we have to think about.
So did you make that motion?
Yep.
Do we have a second? What was the motion? To table it? Until, or you just want to say table?
I table it until the next meeting so that we can gather additional information. Yeah.
It is. September the 9th. April 13th.
I think we need to have that, well, because we need to know by the end of September for the bid for the quote to still get, so.
I mean, they're just saying, they're just saying that. They will, if
timeline.
they get approval by September 30, they will have the deliverables by the end of February 26th, and they push it off.
I think we kind of need that. I mean, I think but no, you don't,
I think we need to know what it's gonna cost us
you for this,
for
the
the,
study,
for the highway, if we take it over, we know what it's gonna cost.
right?
I'm like, Steve, I'm not green. Wow, bypass or against, I mean,
It's just another,
it's just another avenue, we need to know what we're getting.
this is more information. I'll second that motion. So,
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
It's been a relinquished, I guess we've tabled it till at least the next meeting.
additional information is provided and
We'll get as much information between now and then on the company and what we're doing there.
So that'd be good.
Yeah,
Coming out of it.
less than 50 some thousand.
Yeah.
I've taken that out of the clerk treasurer's budget.
You know, obviously, there could be some, there are some contract, a little bit of contract money left on this year that could be numbered, you know, since it is a project that we enter to it. The rest could be paid in next year's budget or however we want to do it, but
Yeah, it's gonna be over over two
I don't,
calendar years, we might be able to do that.
yeah. So. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the conversation, good questions, good responses. Right now, I've got Emergency Superintendent John Fuller.
Good evening, council.
No, I have.
So we got our, added another 3 services this month. We have 2 applications on file, one of them being the Dollar General near Holland. So that's how it started. A little bit of dirt work there.
What are we gonna supply out there?
The old road turnoff absorbs.
Is what we'd be supplying out there?
Yes.
Yes.
Gasoline.
Can run your electric out there?
Not Haslin.
You could. I guess, where it's like
Gas.
that.
No, it's right across from the water town,
Oh, really?
front of Larry's house.
Gotcha.
They did some dirt work, so.
It's
Start. We got a 4-inch high pressure line right going right along the road there.
Is that in jeopardy? I mean, they're doing a lot of excavating.
No,
Cutting down
we're right at the edge of the road.
They're way out.
All right.
I think
The county road right away, aren't
The
you?
water department's got to lower their water main.
Yeah.
Not
Same
Huntingburg,
here,
but
same.
same
Do you need an approval to go ahead and do that, or would you ask?
He's just telling you.
Okay. Alright. We have an application.
Just whatever you want to.
here. Coming down line. And one of the crew members was cleaning out a valve on 3rd and Geiger. Most of us smell of gas, so we investigated it. We thought it was coming from the valve. And as you can see in the picture, what we dug up was a mess. It was leaking from an old bolt-on flange cap. And that was back in the 60s. So we had to weld line stoppers on all stuff. Put our tapping machine on it, run a bypass. And you can see the finished product when we got done with it, had to do a lot of welding. I think water had an issue with their lines underneath that. I think stormwater had an issue with one of the pipes was collapsed, so. It took a little while to get everything fixed and filled back in, but. That is the finished product, which looks a lot better.
Quite amazing they did that back in the day.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, it's back in the 60s.
Water, like a water line underneath this.
Yeah,
Picture.
yeah, water had an issue there too.
Clam.
I think there was a small leak that kept filling up when we were trying to investigate.
Yeah.
Work on our gas lines, so they had to come in and replace was it sleeve?
As a repair clamp,
A
it was
repair
an old repair clamp that wasn't stainless.
So we could work on that gas line before they could repair their water lines. It's one of the things we dig up, you don't know what you're gonna find for years going by.
Shame you guys put together such a beautiful piece of artwork and then put dirt
Yeah,
back.
covered back good.
Yeah.
But it looks a lot better. Put a new valve in it. And IURC come down to an audit last week with the DEMP program with Kim, Al, and we had a gentleman from IURC or USDI come over, sat down on the audit. Everything went real good. No violations, no areas of concern. That's the DEMP program, which is a lot of bookkeeping, record keeping. We went over that and found it was in excellent shape. So very proud of that. Actually got an audit tomorrow morning with the same people on our steel mains. So we feel like that's gonna go well too. Congratulations to Kim. We worked with the gas crew to make sure all the documentation is correct when she puts it on the computer. And then the crews did change out 55 old gas meters to new census meters. We're about 84% complete on changing meters out in the gas department. I did call Governor last Wednesday. I was talking to him about their gas meters. But we're getting low on ours and we have 4 more books to change out. He said he's got 100 meters in stock. And he said the next order will be 30 to 52 weeks before he gets any more in. So I kind of do some talking, but kind of gonna put a hold on that. If it's approved, I can get them 100 meters in. So I'm gonna ask kind of approval, purchase them 100 meters for $44,899. That'll be the last batch we'll probably order until spring. And that will hold us. And that should help us finish another book out.
Yeah, money for that?
Yeah, talk to Tom.
So that the financial.
You know, the report on your financials, they look great.
Like I said, it's gonna be the last meters we'll be ordering probably the rest of the year.
Are we still selling the old meters?
No. We were selling the modules. No, meters, because meters have been changing out of 20, 25 years old, and they're all mechanical.
Yeah.
Got parts, moving parts in them. So nobody's gonna buy them. So we're just scrapping them out for recycle over the recycle center.
So 65 meters 1 month, is that your record?
No,
Okay,
it's a good month.
I heard all about
I think yours can change that. Too.
So I'll make a motion to approve John to purchase the 100 new census meters.
I'll second the motion.
44,899.
First, the second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Any questions about the gas? Moving on to the electric. They did replace 4 poles in St. Henry. There's some old poles with some copper lines. So we decided to change them out. Strung new line. We put the ACSR up. It's about 750 feet, so we upgraded that little section line there. Got an outage, we had scheduled an outage. Then the crews did remove a large tree that's on city property next to the golf course, the dead oak tree. The limbs started falling out on the road. And I think some of the golfers might have little issues getting under the tree, maybe the limb falling out, so they become a liability for the city since it's a dead tree. You can see from the pictures. That's quite a big tree, but we got it down in 1 day. But worked out pretty good. There's another tree on South Cherry Street. We got with a homeowner. It was on their property, but it was a live tree, but it was a big threat to our lines. So we kind of worked with the homeowner. We sent our chipper up there. So we helped with the tree company. So that was another big threat to our lines that was eliminated. That worked out good. And then we're doing some work behind Stein camps on that short stretch of Geiger Street between Masper and Stein camps. We're kind of rerouting some electric to Stein camps. There's some old poles there. And we'll be changing out Master Brand's pole. We got outage scheduled with them in October. And that road's gonna be rebuilt, I think sometime this year yet. So we have now the Stein camps there for a little bit, tried your generator out, it worked good.
You have found out what would work, what we done.
So that turned out good. And then we crew changed up 2 large apartment complexes this month with the new meters, which is 135 meters we did in 1 day. So we had 3 crews out there. We're about 40% complete on our electric meters. It's going pretty quick. And then we do have a quote for our remaining electric meters. That should finish up the purchase of them. And I have a quote for $133,976.33. I'd like to get approval for
The quote's on page 7 of this report. See if they're inventory of those items. 6 to 9 months, right time.
them. Yeah. That will finish up our buyout of our electric meters.
The motion to approve.
I'll second.
We got a first and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Motion carries.
You know, one thing on electric, I didn't get the report, but little update on our 55-foot bucket truck. It was ordered 2 years ago this month. Still can't get an answer on when we're gonna get it. So I was hoping to have it by now. But August of 23. Back in, they said with COVID going on, they couldn't give us an answer on when we're gonna get it, how much it's gonna be, give us a rough estimate. All Tech, the other company, was 6 years. TRX, who we purchased it from, around 2 years. So when we call them, announce the tariffs, they don't know when we're gonna get it because of the tariffs. There's a lot of some of the parts come overseas. But like I say, they can say anything.
They have to give you a price sheet.
So we don't know what it's gonna cost it either.
They gave us a ballpark price back in 2 years ago, because
Yeah, they didn't know.
they couldn't give a direct price. Like I said, they gave us ballpark price. So, and both companies were like that.
Question when it is built and it's ready to deliver, do you have an exact price that you can either accept it, pay it, or
Or
you
if
can
we buy it, they'll have plenty of buyers out there to buy it.
Sure, yeah.
But then you're stuck with waiting another 2-3 years for a truck. They kind of got you.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
What do you think the hold is now? If you order one today, 2 years from now, at the end, or you can?
Probably 2-3 years, 4 or 5 years.
So already cheap.
No,
I mean, what's the next truck you need? Do we plan on that now, or you want to?
So any reason to raise.
if you don't have a big bucket truck. Kind of like to space them out a little, but back 15 years ago, we had to buy them at the same time. It'd be nice to separate them out a little bit, so we don't have it all expense in 1 year. It won't be long, I probably have to get a quote on it, replacing the other big bucket truck.
Okay.
But not much you can do, just wait.
Thank you, John.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions on electric?
Good job. We had our meter switched out. It was 5 seconds. Like, yeah, well prepared to be shut down. Yeah.
Well, quick. Thank you.
Here you go.
Yes. All right, next up is Water Superintendent Jerry. I'll see what do you report and we wanna.
We can do John's first, that way he can
bring John.
get out of
up
here.
And
Already there.
kind of go. You said, yeah, I'll just like this, that's it's order to do Boy Scout. And just
Brought John Russell with us, Commonwealth, to speak about our filter rehabilitation of 5 and 7. We had our bid opening this morning, as most of you were there for. So I don't want to misspeak on any of this. This is my first one, so I'll hand it over to John and let him kind of explain things, and I'll answer questions as they arise.
Thank you, Gary. Kind of hot off the press, late this afternoon, we put together the bid tab. This is that legal size paper front and back. This is the side-by-side comparison of the 3 bids that were received this morning. 3 bidders were Kiefer Brothers out of Mount Carmel, Illinois, Graves, Construction Service out of Switz City, and England out of Westfield, Indiana. As we mentioned this morning, we had 3 different numbers we read. First was the base bid, and the base bid includes all the work in the project. That includes removal of all the contents of the filters, removal of the false floor in that filter. We can look at the bottom tankage and concrete as an allowance in there for any concrete repair needed on that. Lines the tanks, both of them, and it includes putting back the media or the under drains and the media, and then starting up the filters, disinfecting them, and getting them back in service. We had 2 alternate bids as we talked about. We call them MA mandatory alternate 1 and MA2 mandatory alternate 2. Mandatory alternate 1 was the cost difference for a different type of coating on the tanks. The base bid used a polyurea system. This alternate was the difference if we used a 100% solid epoxy coating on those 2 tanks. And then the mandatory alternate 2 In the base bid, we want to reuse, there's 2 separation media troughs in each filter. We want to reuse those. This was an alternate price if they would buy new or put new in. Our take on it was up front, we thought there would probably be a slight decrease in cost to use for MA1 to use the 100% solids epoxy, and we figured there would be an increase in cost if we wanted to buy new troughs instead of reusing them. We thought there might be some trade-offs, sometimes contractor getting them out of there and keeping them in a good condition to be able to reuse. We thought there might be some advantages for them to tear them out, get them out of there quickly. When maybe they thought that was a good trade-off to buy new, so that's why we did that. As you can see, the base bid here for Kiefer Brothers is pretty significantly lower than the other 2, roughly 20% lower. We did talk to all 3 bidders here late this afternoon. Kiefer did indicate that they bid this aggressively. They looked at it a couple different times. We went to the pre-bid meeting, it came back a couple different times, but they weren't expecting to be quite that much lower than everybody else. So they were taking a look at their bid again, to see if they did miss anything. But at the time, they indicated they were still going through it. So this is what we have received. Little background on Kiefer. I don't know if they've worked for the city in the past, but they've been in business since I think 1970. They are stationed in Mount Carmel. They do a lot of work in Indiana. On their bid information that was submitted, some of the recent projects that they've done, they did a almost $11 million job for Mount Carmel and the wastewater treatment plant, and this is in the past year. Roughly $1 million project for water main replacement in the city of Sumner. 2.1 million for Red Hill State Park. Currently, what's on their books right now and what they're working on, they got a $5.9 million wastewater project at Wheatland, but in a low pressure grinder system. They've done this type of work, or they're in the water sewer business. So they have plenty of background and knowledge and know-how on projects like this. Commonwealth has worked with them in the past. I myself was with another engineer, worked with them on projects in the past as well. So they are well qualified to do the work. They're not a company that's not accustomed to this. This is what they do. But again, I wanted to point out the bid documents do give them 24 hours if there's a mistake in their bid to withdraw that. It was 10 o'clock this morning and we opened the bid, so they have until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning to do that. Like I said, they did indicate that they went after it aggressively, but they weren't expecting to be 20% lower. But right now, I've not received anything from them.
And they only withdraw their bid, or can they come back? They can't come back with a higher bid.
No.
So it's either this price or
No.
we didn't get it even close to right, so we're just gonna pull our.
And it's just kind of a question for Phil legalities, but yeah, they can't just willy-nilly pull their bid. They have to show that they have a substantial material mistake in their bid. And then you have the option whether you accept that withdrawal or not. But yeah, they can't come back and say, oh, wait, we messed up and we want another $60,000, $100,000. Then we'll do it. They cannot do that.
I think they just have to forego the bidding system.
My item 8 is where they were really way down. Is that the labor intensive?
Yeah, I wanted to point out,
That's a huge difference.
yeah, 2 things. If you look at line item 8 and line item 10, both of those together we're basically putting back the contents of the cells, basically. Line item 8 is putting the under drain in. Line item 10 is putting all the media in, putting the transmitters and level transmitter stuff back in. So overall, if you combine those 2 numbers, Kiefer Brothers bid for those 2 line items was roughly $250,000. Graves, roughly $400,000, and Thieneman, roughly $470,000. So between those 2 line items, that's really the biggest difference in the bids there between everybody. Again, Kiefer roughly being $170,000 lower than Graves. But that line item right there, those 2 line items combined is about $150,000 of that right there.
What's the chance that they do accept the bid, they come back and change orders, need more money?
I guess a couple things I'll say with that. We do have an allowance in there for $20,000 worth of concrete work, because we can't see the concrete once we get all the contents out of there. But there has to be, any contractor, no matter who's doing it, that allowance of 20,000. We may have an add or deduct on that line item, depending upon what we find and what they actually may do there. So no matter who that is, that 20,000 is probably gonna change probably a little bit one way or another potentially. But if there's a substantial material difference, when they get in there and look at this, I think this is pretty, it's pretty well defined what needs to be done. But again, you never know what comes up during construction that we find, but it would have to be justified if they come back with any changes in price.
I'm looking at the alternate one, compared to. The keeper versus the other two, actually $24,000 less, they use the epoxy and everybody else wants 74,000 or 160,000.
I'll say that was one of the questions we asked. We did expect there to be a little bit of a decrease in price to use that solid, the epoxy. Question was to Graves, what's going on there? And his take, he goes, well, you kind of caught me. He goes, quite honestly, I didn't get a number back from the applicator for the solid epoxy. He goes, we thought they were going to be fairly close, but he goes, I put my number in there without a firm price from somebody, so that's why mine was higher. Talked to Thieneman about it. Thieneman did get a quote. They did say, well, the quote we got for the solids epoxy total was 163.5. So what we put in there was not our difference. That was the total that we put in there. Still, there would have been, even if they would have put the difference in, there would have been a little bit of an increase there. But so I don't know if that answers the question, but we did ask both of them that or all three of them what the difference there was.
Because you had originally said the polyurea would be the one that moves more, that you would recommend.
Phil, in this application, that polyurea, but thicker as well. Phil, it's a really good product for it, And the reason we put that in the base bid, we did think up front that epoxy would probably be a little bit less expensive. So we just thought the base bid to have that, and really do feel that's a good product for the situation.
But not the epoxy, the people. Yeah.
The base bid polyurea.
The epoxy, if you remember that, it's a very thin coating and it gets hard. Where the polyurea, it's a thicker coating, it's a membrane, it stays soft, it's pliable. So as the concrete shifts, cracks or anything like that, it's gonna take that a little bit more.
So what's the chances of them reusing the original cross? How old are the cross?
That's what I'm saying.
So those are only those troughs, because that's the newer cells, they're only about 5 years old.
The issue with the troughs is one end is mortared into the filter, the other end is bolted.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to remove all that concrete around the one end of that trough and then remove those. It's a precision instrument, if you will. They're set in there at a certain angle, and it's something that's got to be very precise when it's
So it's
solved.
not like a cuttable, you can cut it off, weld it back on.
They could potentially do that, but probably the most likely situation would be that the gullet wall, the short wall in both those filters, that's where it's cast into. Likely they could potentially cut that concrete to get it out of there, clean it back off, put it back in, and then re-grout around it.
That would save a lot of money too.
And we will have is it Creta Water, Tonka Water, they're gonna have a representative there too. That way when they are set back in there, they're made sure they are set up the way they should be. They're not twisted or.
And that's kind of why we took that alternate bid. We kind of thought maybe the contractor may view it that, boy, we're just gonna get this thing out of here. We don't have to be as precise, so to speak, and cutting it out and keeping it in good condition. But
Are we gonna be at a reduced capacity and need to buy more water from Atoka, or what, do you see any operational changes in that?
No, our filtration plant, we are currently running just the 6 filters versus the 8 now. We've been like that since we started doing this investigation on these filter cell issues. As far as that goes, there is line items in here. Number 2 for dust and debris control. Kind of like we did when we did the upgrade on the filter plant. We went from 4 to 8 filters in 2019, 2021. They will hang their curtains to make sure that nothing else is contaminated or anything like that. So those filters will stay in service. Our main goal with this, like John said, they do have till 10 a.m. tomorrow to potentially pull their bid. Have spoke with all of them. The one that is lower here, you know, they did, they were after our pre-bid meeting, they did come back out 2 times to the site to take extra pictures, to do more measurements. I mean, they really were aggressive with it. That's knowing that they still have 10 a.m. to come back and pull their bid. You know, I would ask that we consider their quote tonight to move forward with this to keep us on schedule. Our biggest feat is the spring and summer months. Our fall and winter, early spring is our low production time. So that'll give us extra leeway to kind of work around that too, if we would have to drop production or anything like that. If something, God forbid, something would become contaminated where we would have to shut down part of the filter plant, we can do that and still keep our capacity to where it needs to be, to not put the city in any jeopardy of water treatment process.
And the plans and specs did give the contractors 150 days to complete that. Originally, we had 120 days in there. The contractors were a little bit concerned of lead times getting their materials from the filter manufacturer for the under drain. So talking with the filter manufacturer and the contractors, we did issue an addendum that did increase that contract time to 150 days. The thought there was, we'd still like to see, ideally, in an ideal world, all that work to be done basically by the end of March or 1st of April, that time frame before it starts really warming up. But obviously that kind of puts it in the ideal world, you know, they could start maybe sometime around 1st of October with that.
My concern is if they withdraw their bids, it has to be based on material and substantial mistake. And it can't be just they want to reconsider one of these numbers here. We would need evidence that they received the wrong number from a supplier or from a subcontractor or something. Not just some subjective decision that they went out.
That they've been around a long time.
I
think that's, you know, I would assume if we would get something like that,
They'd be documented.
yeah.
Well, I think this is great news.
I think it's awesome.
Way to go. Yeah, good job, guys.
So what do you suggest that we do with the alternate 2? Leave it in there or just decide later?
I really feel like obviously, that's a significant increase in costs, and it was called out base bid. They need to take their precautions to get the existing ones out of there. If I guess worst case scenario, if something happens during construction that's not their fault, or we just cannot reuse these, that could be considered. But we really feel like right now we want to stick with that base bid and not consider that alternate. It is a lot more, you know, obviously that's a lot of dollars saved if they reuse it.
So how does that work though? I mean, we have it in there just if that's a worst case scenario, but it is the understanding that they're gonna do everything in their power to reuse it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So Commonwealth will be there every day by the work time? Watch it.
We do have in our contract for a project rep to be there. It's an hourly basis. We do have a set fee estimated for that. I don't want to say that somebody's going to be there 8 hours a day every day because I don't know the contractor's work schedule.
Okay.
But while they're there and doing substantial work, there would be somebody there.
It has to have a witness to say if they destroyed it.
You know,
Whatever.
We do, yeah. With water, with every project we've done, with the water main project, with a local contractor in 2019, the filter plant upgrade. John was involved in that as well there in 2019. They did have an inspector there, but we find it in our best interest to keep an employee with them at all times too.
Okay.
So if they're there, somebody from the water treatment plant, whether it be myself or another employee, will be there watching over their shoulder. With our best of interest in other, yes. Also with that, Tonka Water will have a rep there on 3 separate occasions.
yeah. You'll notice we have a couple of line items in here for testing as well. So specifications and plans do call out for testing at various intervals on the project. Obviously, we want to make sure these tanks are watertight. That's all said and done. So testing, once we get the contents out of there and look at the concrete before we do the lining, so we'll be hydrostatic testing this. After the lining's done, there'll be another hydrostatic test, and then after we put the under drain system in, we're gonna do a third. So there are multiple times and events we'll do that testing.
What's the warranty on something like this?
The standard was 1 year, and that's what the contract does call out, is in 1 year.
That's on you, Jerry.
That's all we get on everything.
I mean, that's on you to really test it and see what it's got.
That's right.
Yep. It is unfortunate, you know, this situation arose about 2 years after our filters were put in service.
We only got 2 years of service on.
With that being said, that original construction was built in 2003,
Right.
that we put in service in 2019. You know, multiple things happened with concrete. You know, it's unfortunate that this has happened, but you know, it's
The filters, the bottom slab, the under drainage, you can't, or the effluent pipe that's under all that, that was put in back in 2002, and actually most of the walls, the exterior walls of those filters were put in 2003.
So you need a
So we're
motion
looking for
for Steve with Keith Brothers Construction.
yes, sir.
I'll make that motion.
They're recommending that we take the lowest responsive base bid. In the amount of $752,578.72. See it at the bottom of the front page here.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Guess we
Great
stand
work.
more on you here.
Great work.
Thank you.
We'll start out with our distribution. We did install 8 new services this month at the 7th Street duplexes. They're at the intersection of 7th and Van Buren. We did also, we've got a lot of new guys in the water department over the past 7 to 8 years, and we did something that we haven't seen a lot of is confined space training. We do have confined space areas, whether it be in the water filtration plant itself or large vaults, meter vaults, anything like that that we do. AWWA did have a confined space training in Paoli. So we did send the guys up there for that to keep them up to date on safety regulations. Then we had a valve box at First and Van Buren that was damaged during some pavement repair. We did, unfortunately, we wasn't able to repair that one without removing the whole valve box. With that though, we were able to use our hydro excavator and minimize the damage to the roadbed. And then,
Wait, I have a question
oh,
for you.
yes, ma'am.
Whenever you said you did the AWWA confined space training, what
Yes.
was that? Was that like trench box type
So
training?
no, it's training for any confined space, any small area that could potentially have any hazards as far as falling hazards. You know, they teach you how to use a tripod, a body harness to be able to go down into a confined space area. They'll teach you as far as using a gas meter. Anytime you go into a confined space like that, you need to have a gas meter with you that's monitoring constantly. They really, you know, it's anytime you're doing that as well, you need a man up top to help monitor that. We use fans in order to pull air out, plus also push fresh air in. So it just kind of goes over all the regulations that OSHA has for that and the guidelines.
And only the new people went or everybody?
No, everybody. We sent the whole department. We did. Anytime we have anything like that we can send to them. I guess I should redact that, not the whole department. Our plant operator did say at the water filtration plant to run the filter plant as needed.
Thank you.
And yeah, no. So, but the majority of the employees that do come in contact with this daily,
Always.
they did take that training. something that we do, the city kind of shares that, not. We, we share gas meters between departments, fall protection, things like that, so it's, anytime we do that, we do have all the equipment to do it. We utilize it, it's just nice to, for the ones that have taken the course before, it's a good refresher course.
How often do you do those kind of trainings, like every quarter?
We try to incorporate different trainings. There's confined space, there's trenching and shoring. We just did a chainsaw safety class with the street department. Then we also do traffic safety. So we try to implement something like that, yes, quarterly as far as the water department goes. And then there's always the extra that we do as it arises. Jason, like I said, Jason Stone dealt with LTAP with the chainsaw training. It's something that a lot of the departments, I think every one of the departments here use chainsaws. And more than anything, it's
Not everybody attended that.
yeah, and it's a great thing, not only for the new employees that's never been anything like that, but for the ones that's attended it 5, 10, 15 times.
Yeah.
Always to keep you mindful.
Sure.
We're all 10 foot tall bulletproof until it happens.
So you get your leg off.
Yep, that's right. Then 5 foot.
Then they give you documentation, that your employees, do they give a
We do.
certificate of completion
Yeah.
or?
Yeah.
Is that recorded some way in their personnel? files
We keep
or-
it, I keep, so we ourselves have files for each employee. We keep all of the documentation for water licenses, their CEUs that they obtain for those. Any, like their CDL paperwork, whenever they pass their CDLs, things like that, we keep that with their city file.
Okay. Going to refer to it later, some.
Definitely.
We'd have something, hey, this guy was trained,
Right.
in 2025 and, in
Yeah.
July,
Not
this is
only,
when he took the training.
not only is it keeping the employees safe, but it's keeping the city safe as well.
Thank you. Good.
So back to my list here.
All right.
Most of you have probably been past the water treatment plant. We have been working on our north entrance there. We did find the concrete had cracked, not in a joint, and dropped roughly 1.5 to 2 feet. We did remove that concrete. It was 10 inches thick. And the only metal that was in it was at the very bottom of it, what was left and not rotted away. So we also dug roughly 3 foot of subsoil out of there. All that was fill dirt. Whenever all that was built years and years ago, that was a very dramatic hill. So we did drop our grade down to 3 feet. We are gonna get started on that this week. You guys will start to see that come back together. We will use geomatting and then bring our rock up in lifts to ensure that will not happen again, as well as rebar installed in that driveway entrance. Other than that, we investigated a small diameter water main on Elm Street. Something that was put in, it is plastic. When it was installed many years ago, they did not install it with tracer wire. It's always been very hard to locate. In the past, we've located services out, and we went up there this year, hydro excavated in multiple spots to actually find the water main and exactly where it lays and where it ends, and installed water markers with that, so the employees of the future will know where that lays. Our paper maps of 5 feet off of the corner of the house and 6 feet off the roadway is really changed over the years, with the houses changing and the roadways growing. So, other than that, we did assist the street department with the hydro excavator and potholing utilities on Savannah Drive for some work that they were doing. We also replaced 2 sample stations, one at our FedEx location and one on Chestnut Street that's located at the Huntingburg Church of Christ. Those sample stations that we replaced are cast metal that is epoxy coated. Over the years, that epoxy coating has come off, and with that, the cast is starting to rust. We take our routine back T samples out of those monthly, as well as our TTHMs and our HA5s that we sent off to labs and are reported to IDEM as far as their quality of drinking water. So we did replace those with new stainless steel sample stations, that we will not have that problem with in the future. We had a little fun this past month. We did help the Huntingburg Police Department and the Fire Department in building slip and slide for their Badge and Blaze camp. So that was kind of a nice change in pace to get that help them build that with some straw bales and plastic there, and see the youth get to enjoy that.
You have to test first.
We did not. We did not. We should.
Yeah, just to make sure, you know.
Yeah, definitely. We do enjoy the water and the kids. And we are looking forward to Herbst Fest this year. From there, we did have 2 water main breaks. Unfortunately, on a section of Van Buren Street between 7th and 8th Street, we have a 10-inch water main. It's a distribution main that runs from our east water tower there. We've had a little trouble with it in the past, but here lately it's become kind of a problem for us. The first leak that we had, we got called in about 11 o'clock in the evening, and the guys worked through the remainder of the day until 3:30 the following day. Unfortunately, the following day from that, we had water coming out of the road again, roughly 60 feet away. The first day they sleeved in about 6 foot of new pipe. The second repair was able to be done live with a repair clinic. I am seeking quotes on that to look at repairing that block of water main. I know there's some future paving there down 7th Street that's going to come out in that intersection at 7th and Van Buren. Our water main does lie underneath the curbing and sidewalk down Van Buren, so we're hopeful to not have to get out into the road any more than in the intersection that will potentially be repaved with that project. So
That's blowed out several times over the years.
it's I've been here going on 8. We've seen it 4 times. I'm sure it's happened in the past.
I've seen it a lot.
Yeah, so
I
it's
think I probably helped put that sidewalk back a couple times.
have you? All right, so it's definitely warranted to be replaced. So I'll be bringing forward bids for that, as well as that main does lay underneath the sidewalk and some of the curbing. So I'll make sure I have quotes for sidewalk and curbing replacement when I bring them back.
Sleeping time off.
I do not like to sleep pipe. There is no repair for that sleeve when that pipe deteriorates from that sleeve. The city sleeved 4th Street in the past, and we've had 3 leaks up there since. Luckily, they were service lines that had blew out of the main, and we were able to put those back together. But sleeving usually is more expensive. You still have to excavate 2 pits. We can do it cheaper installing pipe ourselves.
Can you put it on the sidewalk?
Well, it's been talked about. There's some utility poles there in the vicinity, as well as the new loading and unloading station for the railroad cars whenever the Spirit of Jasper comes through. So it's not a great thing, but hindsight, half the sidewalk's already gone from the last one break. So
I did see that.
we're replacing that curbing anyways. So, but I will be coming our next council meeting with quotes to look at getting that approved to get that replaced before that paving work's done there. From there, we have been working with the Parks Department. They had a backflow that failed at Market Street Park, so we went in, reinstalled the new backflow, tested it. And then they also had a backflow device at their Little League field that had failed. They had time to replace it, so they replaced it, and then we went down there and tested it for them so they could put it in service. Other than that, filter plant is running as should. We have had a lot of issues with our lake due to the water temperature here lately. Anytime it gets hot like it has, it causes our solubles to rise, which entails we can't treat that water. At that point, it is too dirty to treat. So we have to have that water settle out in order to pull it through the water treatment plant process to treat that water. So we have worked a lot of extra shifts on the days that we can treat water. weekends, we've been running shifts in order to keep our usage from Patoka down. We do have the redundancy to buy water from Patoka, which is great for the community. We are set up on a allotted amount of water we're set up on a rate ladder. After a certain allotted amount of water a month, the price increases drastically. It is cheaper for us to pay overtime than it is to purchase water from Patoka. We're lucky that we have the crew that's more than willing to come in on third shift and on weekends to work and help treat water to keep caught up, so we don't have to pay those higher costs of Patoka water.
Great.
Other than that, our metering system, we're getting out there getting those meters installed. Just today I was talking to Blake Lindo, our meter tech. He got 4 of our large diameter meters replaced today. That's good for our large diameter meters, just due to the fact of scheduling with businesses and just the sheer fact of installing those meters. Monday they installed a meter. Went in thinking it was going to be a straightforward meter install. They ended up replacing about 3 foot of pipe along with the meters. So it's you never know what you're getting into with these large diameter meters. They're put in with zinc bolts that deteriorate that are under the ground with moisture. A lot of ductile iron that was never coated or painted that deteriorates, that we cannot put anything on. So we're going to continue to work through that over the next couple months. We are hopeful that we will have all these replaced though by the end of this year. I'm hoping to beat John. We did get about a 5-year head start on it. That's
Yeah.
so we are hoping
Changes are
that,
lickety split.
that's right. Definitely.
So with Maple Street water line.
Maple Street water line, it is one that is on our list. It is an old water main. Part of Maple Street is transite that we will look at getting out of the ground there too, from Main Street up to
Uphill.
the Oak Street curves down there.
Oak Street is in the middle.
Okay, so Oak Street, so it is transite up to that point and then does transfer to cast iron. We have had some issues up there from Oak Street to Hickory with that cast iron water main. Unfortunately, you know, we've
Think it Hills moving or just.
no, I truly believe it's just bad pipe. We did that roughly 4 years ago. Whenever I stepped in this position, we replaced Hickory Drive right away down the dead end road due to the same issue. We have had some issues on that hill. I know you were at the water main break this last one we had. Neil, you're right there too. It is on our scope, definitely on our plan. Unfortunately, there's some other roads that have to take precedent over that one just due to being in worse shape. Something that hasn't been done in the past, whether due to other projects or just as money allows. Water is not a very lucrative business. We don't. People might think it, but we don't make as near as much as what people think we do off the utilities, just due to the chemical costs and the process of the utilities of treating the water. But we have in the last 4 years that I jumped into this, we have tried to replace 4 to 5 city blocks of water main a year. Previous to that, we were at a maintaining standpoint, so we're trying to get our infrastructure where it needs to be as quickly as possible as our financial state allows.
Great job.
Yes, sir.
Person asked me, I don't know if I'm asking the right person. Oh, it's you or the park. If you go out on the city lake, you go out and you want to put a boat in, or you want to go out and fish or whatever, where are you supposed to go to the bathroom? Used to have a porta potty out there. It's gone. I don't know. You don't have anything anywhere, do we?
No, there's nothing out there. Something that we don't hear much about until about every 4 years. And usually I get this question from a council member. I
I'm
do
not up for
know.
election, so.
Right, yeah, there you go. There you go.
No.
No, all jokes aside, I do know that in the past they did look into it. It was something that was looked into when Gary Meyerholtz was the superintendent. That is downhill from the sewer that is there. So the cost of one of the facilities to put in with the E1 pump to be able to pump it up to the sewer main. Then on top of that, of course, the question of who is maintaining this bathroom. You know, as we've seen, we've had a boat dock over there for 2 years. And we've had lights come up missing off the boat dock. We've had rails being broken on the boat dock. It's kind of hard to put faith in the community that they're gonna take care of what we have.
Outdoor outhouse.
Yeah, it's, I would be more than happy to put an outhouse out there and put your phone number on it.
Yeah.
Probably on it already.
Plant more trees.
But, like I said, it has been a topic of discussion. With that being said, you know, that would come out of the water department's budget, and I'll be completely honest with you, I'm more focused on infrastructure. The boat dock that was put in out there was paid for out of the mayor's edit funds, when Steve Swinghammer was the mayor. That was brought to the city numerous times, wanting a boat dock out there. There's a couple articles wrote on it, wanting a boat dock out there. And I told everybody that came to me and asked questions, whether it be the community or council, the mayor at that point. I have no desire to spend money on things like that whenever we have infrastructure that's failing the community. My main concern is getting every resident in this town clean water to their house.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're gonna enjoy the lake as a, you know, at some point, you know, I wonder, what's the cost of a porta potty?
Yeah.
Answer for
Something
whenever we had to go dump it.
that's, yeah, I mean, it's.
So you contract somebody and they come do it.
Yeah.
It's a conversation we can have.
Well, and I guess
the
maybe,
cost of next meeting.
Yeah, we can.
I mean, you know, one of these guys can discuss it, you know, you, Brad, or whoever, I don't know whose property it is, it's the water department's.
That's the
property.
water department's, there's a small park out there that, I'm not 100% honest.
That's why I'm asking, who's supposed to
I'm
be
not-
in here?
Truly not sure who regulates the park. I know there was one point, that the park was looking at taking that over to be able to do some grants with it. I don't know if that ever happened. That was whenever Rachel Stecker was here, we had spoke about that. I'm honestly not sure who that's tied to be honest. We do maintain that area. We did a couple of years back, put field tile in that park area to get the water away from it. There was an issue there. It's the porta potty, sounds like a great idea until it's turned over outside and it becomes an issue. But no, we can, if it's something.
so what is it currently just a shelter house there? There's a couple places too.
There's a shelter house and a small playground,
Yeah,
and then the boat ramp.
and that's where the porta potty would be.
I
think.
honestly,
Yeah.
I've lived in this community my whole life, and I can't tell you that I've ever known of any bathroom being there. Honestly,
No.
there's never been a facility there.
Not my
and-
lifetime, yours.
And the only time I've ever heard anybody ask about it is usually one councilman every 4 years.
Not me.
We'll ask
That
about
was the last one.
it. Yeah, Jeff was the last one, yes. Yeah. But yeah, it's
Because they're all peeing in the lake and you're treating.
topic for discussion. Hey, the fish peeing there too.
Bring your own buckets.
But, yeah, no, if that's something you want, we can look into that. Maybe a couple options as far as.
I'm sort of looking at the backstory, because I don't know if there is any story
Right.
here.
Yeah, it's
I mean, if you're telling me it's uphill to the sewer plant, that's problem one,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
That's the biggest issue.
You charge that to Brad.
Hey, I'm all about it. You give me the word.
But he has to pay the sewer bills. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah.
That's all I had, thank you.
All right. Thank you guys.
City Attorney Phil Schneider. First grade, not different. I have nothing. Any council items? Any citizen items?
We're all citizens now.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries. That's